Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nick and Jeff show. I'm Nick, and joining me this week is the same as usual,
Jeff.
um,
Nick, you look so handsome today. I love the jacket.
Oh, thank you.
You look so cozy.
I went out to like an art gallery with one of my friends down the Gold Coast today, and I got back and I was like, I'll just keep wearing my jacket because it was nice and warm and snug, and so yeah.
Oh, very good. Anyway, Nick, what are we here for today?
This week we're going to do a spoiler cast for the new Thor movie. How exciting!
But before we spoil it, we should do a really quick spoiler-free review.
A really quick spoiler-free review. I agree. The same thing, maybe like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere between that 5-minute review.
Yeah, I'll put it in the timestamps. But
where would you put it, Nick, amongst the Thor movies?
Well, actually, you know what? I really try to not read any headlines, and I think, we're seeing the movie so early.
Yep.
I don't get to look at any reviews. That means I get to have my own opinion without being influenced with anything. And I haven't watched any trailers outside the first two major ones.
Yep.
And then I just saw some headlines and I'm like, just put a little bit of like an inkling in my mind.
Okay.
So I think out of the Thor movies,
it
is not as good as Thor Ragnarok.
Yep.
It is below that.
Yep.
But it's still better than the other two.
I agree. That's exactly where I put it as well. That's exactly where I put it as well. Is that what these headlines that you read, is that what they said as well?
I can't really remember what they said, and I think I'll just be making it up. But it's just like, I guess my opinion is like, Thor Love and Thunder is all over the place.
Yeah.
And it is. There's lots of story, I guess not many storylines, but like lots of different places, and they're very loosely connected, I'd say.
Loosely connected to what? What do you mean?
Like going from place to place to place. Like, let's just make as many fun, different environments as we can.
Yeah. But yes,
it's fun.
I completely agree with you. I think not as good as Ragnarok, but still fun. Still has the same kind of vein. And it wasn't a bad movie. I feel like that's gonna.
Oh, no way.
But I feel like it was almost trying too hard to be as good as Ragnarok, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just
hard to strike twice lightning, isn't it?
It is lightning striking twice in the same place, but it still has the same sort of vibe, still the same sort of light-hearted feel, a lot more fun. Because I feel like the first two Thors were very sort of serious, and now Thor is a much more fun character, and all the ladies go crazy for him and his body and all that, So,
his guns were huge, Nick.
They were massive in this movie. And he's just jacked as hell in general. But Natalie Portman as well. I think her is. It's in the trailer, so I think we can spoil that of her being Lady Thor.
Yeah, Mighty Thor, Nick. Get it
Mighty Lady Thor. I don't know, but
Mighty Thor. Did you miss? You obviously missed a very key part of the movie.
I know what you're talking about. Shut up! Spoiling everything. No, that's I thought she did a great job. It was cool to see her back after her not being there for Ragnarok, and I think she fit into the role really well. Like she
looks jacked too.
Like she looks great. I don't know how old Natalie Portman is now, but she still looks awesome.
She looks the same to me.
How do you think...
since Star Wars, until now.
Yeah. How do you think Christian Bale did?
Oh, you know what? I enjoyed his character. I feel like he's actually one of the stronger villains compared to Marvel villains. I feel like he's not the best, but he's certainly like a lot better than a whole bunch of the others.
Yeah.
And I feel... I like his small amount of story, I guess. It was not small, but like his story was fine. I thought it did good, and I was actually sort of, I don't know if it was admiring, but like, damn, he looks real skinny.
He did look very skinny, didn't he? But I guess, I don't know, he's one of those, method actors where he always changes his body for whatever role he's in and all that sort of stuff. But I thought at the start his character was a little bit goofy, like that opening scene, which, but then pretty much after that, I think you're right, he was like a very sinister and just... He wasn't like overly powerful, I guess. He'd sort of, but he just like his presence. He had a good presence in the movie, I think. And I think
he was enjoyable, right? I think he's better than most of the Marvel villains that you'd sort of just totally forget about.
Yeah. I don't think he was really that of a forgettable villain, but he wasn't the best one. He's not like he's no Loki or anything like that. But what would you give it out of 5?
Out of 5, Nick, I think. Damn, those costumes are amazing and they don't look computer generated, and I wanted to touch them out of 5.
Okay.
You know what? I think 3.5. It's fun.
Okay.
3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm kind of like if somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. Like it's not.
No, that doesn't work.
I know it doesn't really work, but it's really close to a 4. But if it's doesn't quite get there, so maybe you're rounding down 3.5. But it's still really fun. It's still really good. Like you'll have a really good time. And
all right, Nick.
Yeah. I think.
Are we ready? Are we ready to spoil?
I think I'm ready to spoil. Yeah, like I mean, everyone knows that you're gonna, if you like Marvel movies, you're gonna go see it. It's fun. It's not a disappointment. Yeah. Like what was that last one we went and saw? Morbius.
Which Doctor Strange. Actually, I guess this is a spoiler in itself, but I don't think there's a really big, gigantic spoiler. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the latest Spider-Man movie, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You could very easily spoil that for people. I feel like you'll probably read stuff and you'll be like, I don't know. It won't affect you in any way.
Yeah, and even Doctor Strange, like there's spoilers in the movie, but there's not anything mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's still a fun movie. You'll have a good time.
All right, Nick, shall we start with the very final credits? Because it's just easier to work backwards, isn't it, sometimes? Shall we the two final cliffhangers?
Okay.
Credits and post-credits. Okay. Or do you want to save that to the end?
Well, they're not overly that exciting either, I think. Like they're interesting, but I'm happy to save those till the end. They're not.
Okay.
If they were mind blowing things, then I'd be like, oh my god! But it's kind of just like eh.
All right, Nick. So I wrote down normally I write notes, but I think I just wrote down things that happened in the movie, so I remember.
Yep.
So yeah, you've already talked about the opening with Christian Bale, and you see, I guess, the fruit god, the sun god, I don't know, whoever he was.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
He was just being an all round god jerk.
He's a dick, yeah. But I thought that opening scene was very sort of awkward. I don't know about you, but I was just watching it. It felt just weird.
It wasn't in the instant comedy like Ragnarok was when he was fighting the big demon.
Yeah, it seemed like it was sort of stuck in between realms of like Christian Bale's character is very serious and dark and like his daughter just died, and this god is very much like like the god was very lighthearted and carefree, which was just weird.
Then I don't know much about the sword, the Godslayer sword. I don't know what it was called. No. Sorry, nothing. But yeah, just sort of like, this other guy tried to kill me with the God slaying sword, and Christian Bale's here. You can have this. Like the sword chose him. Like
whatever that was,
whatever.
It was weird. So I don't know. I thought the opening scene was a bit weird, and
I wrote down it was quite serious.
Yeah, but still, the god and his lighthearted attitude was like when the creatures pop out of the woods and it was just. I thought that just that scene in general was probably the weirdest one in the movie for me. Which is it's bad when that's the first thing that sort of sets the tone for the movie, kind of. But from there,
and then. Yeah, from there, Nick. You know what? My next note was there was a newish song for the Marvel intro logo.
Oh, it was the same song. They just used an electric guitar.
Yeah, well, it was new to me. And I always like to look for the I wonder if they added the latest thing. And I saw Moon Knight.
We did see Moon Knight. Yeah.
I don't know if I saw what's the new one? Ms. Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Yeah.
I don't know if I saw that. I
don't think I saw her either. But yeah. But I like that they still have Black Panther as like the last thing that you sort of see.
Oh, do you? I didn't notice.
Yeah, he's the last one before it all turns into the Marvel.
But logo. Nick, once the intro came through, it started with a Korg recap. Did you like the recap? Yeah,
well, I mean, if we're not getting too far ahead, I guess, I don't know if we're going to go chronologically or whatever, but he does that a few times in the movie, and I thought it worked really well. If you hadn't seen the other movies, if someone, because there are these people in the world that haven't seen all these movies, so I guess if you get dragged along and, sure, I'll go see the new Thor, I think it would sum things up pretty well for you, I imagine.
And there's not a lot of Marvel movies that do the recap. I know them. And then I normally either watch the related movies before they start, or I watch some sort of YouTube recap.
Yeah.
But then it was nice to have it in the movie.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I appreciated that.
I thought Korg was good. Like he's still funny and still just a fun thing to watch. But then they introduced the whole the recap of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing and how he spent their time time with them. I thought that was we get into the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, so we want to get into that first?
Yeah, well, I wrote down, damn, they got dropped so fast.
I mean, not that that was a bad thing. It is still a Thor movie, so I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess after Endgame, when I guess after Endgame, when he leaves in the ship with them, I thought they were going to be in at least half the movie or something like that, but they just sort of disappear. Yeah. So I guess that partnership's done now.
It definitely had the very cool "Welcome to the Jungle" song sort of area where they're showing, Thor loves himself and he's so great.
Yeah.
And I did like his little outfit that matched. What's the dude's name? Peter
Star
Quills.
Yeah.
Yes, Star-Lord.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like I don't feel like did Mantis or the big
Drax?
muscle guy did they even speak? I don't think they did.
They got like one or two lines in the movie or something like that. But I mean, for as little of part they played, they probably got paid quite a bit still.
Yeah, I guess there'll be a Christmas special to come soon.
Yeah, but they still got Vin Diesel to do to do two Iron Groots and Bradley Cooper to have like one or two lines as Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah,
so whatever.
I can't remember really anything that they said or did, but I know they were there for probably 4 or 5 minutes of screen time in total.
Yeah. But still a really cool Welcome to the Jungle montage, and he's just like letting him show off and doing the splits.
It was fun.
It was fun. Like those little montage things. I mean, they did it in Ragnarok as well.
Yeah.
Just these cool scenes with the music going off, and it's just fun. It's just cool to watch, and I think it's kind of similar to how people were with Iron Man, like all the AC/DC songs. Obviously, Thor's a little bit more Guns N' Roses, but yeah, with Iron Man, it was all the AC/DC stuff, and he'd jump out of the planes and rockets and all sorts of stuff going off, and they put on AC/DC. That was cool, and it's just fun. Just fun.
So Nick, the next bit of the movie took us to New Asgard, which is I guess in the UK or Ireland somewhere. I don't know
I don't know where it was.
Wherever that is in the real world, but I liked that the Marvel universe is just like folding in on itself, and it's turned it into a tourist. You saw all the cruise ships lining up, and it's turned into like a little theme park. Yeah. And my favorite little Easter egg was the infinity cones. Ice cream stand.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought that was great.
I thought that was fun too. But I really liked that soon after they still did the play. They did the play thing, like what they did in
yes, of course,
in Ragnarok, and they bring Matt Damon's cameo character back and Sam Neill as Odin, and
I don't know who the other guy was.
I think I could be wrong, but I think the other guy that played Thor, I think he's like a professional Thor cosplayer, and they just got him in the movie to play the part of Thor.
Oh wow! Because I like how they appeared in the movie later on as well.
Yeah, they then showed up like,
they're like, oh yeah, should we do this bit of the play?
How are we going to cheer people up? We should do a play. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, and off they go.
It was actually really incredible how you saw the hammer come across on like the wires and then breaks apart, and then like their clothes get ripped off.
What's the chick's name?
It's cool.
Melissa McCarthy coming in as Hela.
Oh, is that who Hela was?
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy. I don't like her as an actor, but of course she bursts through, and she's an idiot anyway. And like people like her. I'm not a fan, but it's like people in cinema will laugh because Melissa McCarthy come through. And
I really like that continuation. Yeah, that was really really good.
Yeah.
Highlighted that one.
But
yeah, I think just after that, that's when the Guardians get
kind of just disappeared,
dropped off.
Yeah.
Or Thor's like, yeah, later, I'm done. Yeah, need to go back.
Has to go and rescue one of the girls from the other movies. I can't remember her name, but then they had that scene with Natalie Portman, and like her first scene is her just dying in the hospital of cancer. I was like, oh, this is a big theme of the movie. Like, cancer's a bitch.
Yeah, I guess that's a big spoiler. She dies.
Oh yeah, I guess it's a big spoiler. I don't know, but she kind of disappeared for 8 years as far as the movies go, whatever it was. So I don't think people are going to be too disappointed. But did she actually die, Jeffrey? Did she actually die?
Well, we'll get to that at the end, I guess.
I guess we'll get to that at the end.
But yeah, so I think Thor eventually he comes back to New Asgard, and that's when I guess you get introduced into Natalie Portman as Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
And what do you think of her outfit and all her cool tricks?
I loved it. I thought it was cool. I thought that her wearing Thor's original outfit was cool. I still don't really like the eye thing, but I guess fans want it, and it's very traditional Thor and all that sort of stuff. But I loved that. How cool was it that it splits off into 20 pieces or whatever the hell that is?
So cool!
So
that,
cool.
I thought that was incredible.
Like, what a
really
great
like
way
that.
to. I don't know if that if that's in the comics or anything like that, but for them to bring back Mjolnir and have it be the same original Mjolnir, and it splits off into so many pieces, I thought that was so cool.
And I really liked how they wove in the magical backstory of how she actually got the hammer, and seeing when Thor and Jane were courting or dating or whatever. He's like, together, old Mjolnir, make sure you always look after her and protect her.
Yeah.
And then you see the little spell,
the little magic
appear on it, and then that's how she got it.
And when there was, because I'm watching, you see the trailer, and I'm like, what is she doing as Thor? Like, how did that happen? What is going on? This seems like but the way she gets it, and the way that he says to Mjolnir, like, Mjolnir, please make sure, like, if anything happens to me, whatever, just look after her no matter what. And yeah, it does. How cool is that? Like, she goes and looks at Mjolnir, calls to her, and then just rebuilds itself and looks after her. That's awesome. I thought that was so cool.
I didn't write this down, and it's not really in order, but the movie says, I've missed you, Jane. It's been 8 years, 17 days, 6 hours, 3 seconds, or something, right?
Yeah.
But does he miss Jane, or does he miss I can't say it. Mjolnir. His hammer, right? And I love how the hammer and the axe, they get jealous of each other.
What a great like, I wasn't expecting that through the movie, like them introducing the weapons being sentient, I guess, and having I guess it's sort of the first movie where they've been a little bit alive, and they have their own. The weapons have their own personality, and he says some good stuff.
Well, only his axe, really, right?
The axe is a bit.
Mjolnir isn't jealous. It's happy.
I was glad he was. When they're on the boat and he just goes to pick it up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just checking." And, then the axe just sort of slowly just slides into frame. Like, oh, what you doing there?
I thought he might say, "Oh, just checking, I'm still worthy."
Yeah, and I thought that was great.
It was fun.
And I like that when, Mjolnir first shows up, he's like, oh, yes, come here, Mjolnir. And it flies off, and then he's like, well, we'll see about that. Puts on his full thing and, puts on, this massive thing on his face and walks over and is like, who are you? Show me your face. And Jane?
What? But yeah, that fight scene with all, whatever the shadow monsters were, whatever, who cares? Yeah. But the fighting, just watching all the hammer and the axe and the hammer splitting apart and coming back together, I'm like, damn.
That is cool.
That is fun.
That is cool.
It was really fun weapon.
It's just I don't know. I imagine the developers of, say, God of War or something like that are very much watching oh, that's a cool thing we could do with the next. Instead of just having one axe that you throw and bring back, you can have it split into 10 pieces. And...
Nick, you know how there's all these rumors about God of War being delayed. I don't. Not that I believe it or care, right? They haven't announced a release date, so it can't be delayed. But they're going oh no, we've got an early preview of the movie. We've got to change everything. We've got to make our axe be like the hammer.
Yeah. But I thought that scene was great. Yeah. I wasn't really a fan of the God Killer's enemies. I thought they were sort of just very generic sort of shadow monsters. Yeah. But I guess they're not really the main villain. They're just kind of little henchman thing, I guess. But
just fodder, Nick, to steal all the children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
The Asgard children get stolen, and then they just get locked in a cage, I guess.
Yeah. You gotta have hostages.
Everyone just makes jokes oh no, not the children. No, we got to rescue them.
Children. Yeah. But
and then I liked how they introduced Heimdall's kid, oh yeah, that's his child. Yeah, we forgot to mention that.
Yeah, he had a kid at some point. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. He had a kid before
he died. He had the powers too. So I thought that was a little neat. I always just picture, they're always just putting stepping stones in place for 2 generations time of Marvel movies.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. I'm not sure if you want to talk about that now or not, but I do feel like it feels like they're digging themselves a little bit of a pit. As much as I love the Thor movie, and I know people love these main characters, but recently watching Moon Knight and the Miss Marvel, and then even Doctor Strange with the little dimensional traveling chick, and and now watching Thor and how much the kids were involved in that, I feel like there's going to be some sort of, it'll be mini Avengers and it'll be all those characters. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. Well, isn't there Young Avengers or something?
Something like that, yeah. But just
I don't know. I'm out.
But I don't think, and that's the thing. Watching this movie, I think you'd agree that I don't think anyone cares about those characters. Like Moon Knight was okay. He might have a future, maybe. But like watching Doctor Strange, the dimensional traveling chick,
yeah,
and Miss Marvel, and now the kids in Thor, and like the chick, I don't know, whatever the hell the daughter is at the end, the Love and Thunder bit.
Yeah, I guess I understand because, kids probably want to see teenagers be superheroes or whatever, right? Me as an adult, I just finished Life is Strange and I said I liked it because they're adults. You want to see yourself. So they're just setting up people, any age. I guess I compare it to like, how there's like a bajillion versions of iPads and then different versions of... tiers, how much storage. I don't know why I'm comparing this, but like, how much money do you want to spend?
Yeah.
Whatever money you are willing to, we will take it. We want every generation, every gap to have a Marvel character, age person that they want to relate to, and we're going to spit it all out there.
Yeah, fair. I don't know.
There'll be something you like.
I just feel like all the characters that they've introduced in like the last 6 months, all of them are just very lame and not very exciting. But I don't know, maybe they'll get better. I don't know. I've just...
and then... I guess the other thing, like, what made Doctor Strange special for me, right, is having a villain that you've already known.
Yes.
That's what made it more fun.
Yes.
Right? Where this was generally all newish.
Yeah, a little bit of its own civil war. Like, yeah. I have a question for you. It's not in your notes, but what did you think of them going back to long-haired Thor?
Oh, that's fine. Whatever.
That's fine?
Yeah. Okay, didn't really bother me.
I don't know. In Ragnarok, I really did like short-haired Thor. I thought it like...
Oh, yeah.
Me too. I don't know. I mean, I guess, Thor's...
Is it kind of like your hairstyle right now?
Not as handsome, but sure thing. I'll take it. I don't know. I know the character traditionally, Thor has long hair and all the Vikings all have long hair and all that sort of whatever. Olden days, very common for guys to have long hair. But I liked the short hair Thor in Ragnarok, and I kind of wanted that to come back, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the short hair on people, on men in general, better. Yeah. I did go watch a bit of the recap of the first Thor, which I've only seen once.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, oh, man, that's... his hair is not good there.
It's not great.
I think you just, in Infinity War or Endgame, it was back to long hair again.
Yep.
Just like you said, the comic book style movie things, they all reset all the time. They go back to square one.
Yep.
He's just gone back to Viking Thor. So
yeah. What do you think of? It was just playing on the screen before. What do you think of the weird little high five scene that they had going on?
With Peter Quill?
High five's cool, and it's all just like this weird little, and then the snake bites, and
I felt like it was trying too hard.
Yeah,
and Ragnarok, a lot of it was improvised. Like I don't know if they're trying to do that again in this, but I'm just like, I didn't care for it. I didn't even remember it.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Oh, actually, what did you think of the goats in the movie?
Oh, they're so annoying.
I thought it was annoying. Like initially, the first 5 minutes, I'm like, this is funny. And then when it kept going, I'm like, oh god.
The only bit of the goats I enjoyed is when they turned it into a Viking ship. I'm like, that's kind of cute.
That's kind of cool.
And then when they fell into the planet,
yes,
at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I think kids will like that. Other people will like they're in there. But
yes.
After the first 5 minutes, I got over it.
Maybe they're a toy or a Lego set.
Yeah. I'm wondering, because that's the thing. They obviously had the relationship where Stormbreaker wasn't using the Bifrost properly and he couldn't teleport. Yeah. So then they're like, oh, let's just harness his power and make a boat. And I was like,
yeah.
I mean, so if Thor uses him, the Bifrost doesn't want to work. But if they put him on a boat, he'll work. Is this this is just so you guys can have a boat?
I don't know why it failed. They did try to explain why it didn't work properly, but I'm like, whatever crazy story place they want to go to, it made it fun. I didn't mind, and I think it gave the story a reason for Thor not to always have Stormbreaker,
Yes.
right? Like, it's off on the boat or it's somewhere else. Like, this way you are not
fair.
the strongest Avenger at all times, and
fair.
can solve every problem with just your axe.
Yeah, fair.
Nick, so pretty much after the kids get kidnapped, they decide they use the boat, right?
Yes.
And they travel to I can't remember what it's called. It's not Eternals.
Omnipotency or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much like, hey, here's every god you've imagined except Jesus.
Didn't I think
our
they
Lord and Savior God.
I think they made a reference to Jesus. They were like, "Oh, that's the god."
Did they? I missed that.
Maybe they were like, "Oh, there's the god of carpentry." I don't.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, well, that is Jesus. He was a carpenter. Is that
Jesus? I mean, Jesus is a carpenter. Like, he's a god.
So this is the bit where I'm just like, okay, all right. Having Zeus and Russell Crowe was there. It was fun, right? It's kind of fun to see Russell Crowe's fat. Like, I know he's older or whatever.
I didn't like the
Gladiator forever.
I didn't like the Russian accent, but whatever.
Oh, whatever it was. But it's just like, all right, how did they just explain any of this? Or clearly they just don't give a F, right? Like, we're just going to do whatever we want. And when you see, like, oh, here's the god of the dumplings, and you see this cute little dumpling, I'm like, all right, what's the word? Like, jump the shark or something? They're just like, they don't care.
Oh, right.
They're just going to put whatever they want in here.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. And I thought, I thought maybe, I don't know, that whole relationship of who Zeus was and all that sort of stuff, I thought he'd be a little bit, I thought that would all play out very differently. And in the other movies, you see how powerful Stormbreaker is. Well, initially, how powerful Mjolnir is, and how powerful Stormbreaker is, and how Mjolnir is nothing compared to Stormbreaker, and blah blah blah. But then they're so desperate to get a hold of Zeus's lightning bolt, and they didn't really explain why that was so powerful. I don't think, or like what made it.
Well, I think they said they needed an army to fight all the shadow monsters, right? Yeah. And they can get one from the Eternal City place.
Yeah.
And they thought Zeus could create an army somehow, and then they just saw Zeus with his lightning bolt just being a dick, like.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And then they thought they'd just steal that instead. Like, it was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I like the lightning bolt. I think it looks cool. I didn't think there was an explanation as to why they needed this suddenly, like, OP godly weapon.
And it was a key as well.
No, Stormbreaker was key. But I love. I'm maybe skipping ahead or just moving on. But he kills Zeus. Like, how cool was that?
Yeah. I you know what? I really liked that we played Hades a lot. So I knew Zeus was like a dick or hornbag or like I know that, but like I'm reminded of that.
No orgy for you. Okay.
And then I like how it was. I didn't realize like, oh yeah, he's the god of lightning and Thor's the god of thunder. Yeah. Right? Or did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. Two different gods from different mythologies. They're both lightning and thunder, and him getting the lightning bolt's kind of cool.
I was kind of expecting, like, obviously, if Zeus is there, then I was expecting Poseidon and Hades and, Aphrodite. And
dumplings.
Yes, I was expecting the other ones to be there too, but I guess, they did introduce Hercules.
Yeah, save that for the end.
Save that for the end, I guess. Yeah, but I like that he killed, he killed Zeus, and I like that Korg sort of had his weird little. That he throws the lightning bolt down and you're like, oh no, Korg's dying. Oh no, Korg's not dying. Okay, Korg's not dead, but he just killed.
Well, I kind of thought they might kill him because I guess it doesn't matter as a character really, right? Like he's just a fun side character. But like no, they didn't kill him, but it made Thor kill Zeus.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know. I mean, it still worked. So. I really liked it, but where do we go from there? Where did it go from there?
Nick, I did have a good point here, right? Just before we leave the city, Korg has two dads, and Valkyrie is pretty much confirmed a lesbian.
Yeah,
I'm like, diversity. Thanks,
but also,
even if it's a rock monster.
But you still wrote, I don't know, a little bit down. Where'd you write it? That they still had to kiss or something like that. Why do they have to kiss?
Oh, you know what? No, this is about Jane and Thor. Sorry, I was very bad. My writing's very terrible. I was in the movie trying to do it. So once they leave once they leave, what's the city again? Please tell me one more time.
Asgard? New Asgard?
No, the fancy city.
Oh, Omnipotency?
Oh, yeah, that place, right? They're on their magic Viking boat off to the planet where the children are, I guess, kidnapped, and they're going to go fight the God Butcher guy, right?
Yeah.
And it takes them a little while for there, and then, Jane and Thor, I guess, reconcile the differences or whatever, and then I actually kind of thought Jane said, oh, I've got cancer. So she was like, there's no time for loving. Right? Or to fall in love. Like, I'm going to die soon. And then I thought, it might actually be nice if they just become, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, and they're just friends, right?
No.
But then they kissed.
No, of course they've
got to kiss.
Of course they've got to rekindle that old flame. But when I read the notes, you're like, why did they have to kiss? I'm like, well, there's already a history there, and she's dying, so of course they're going to rekindle that flame. But I'm also, I don't know, I feel like with watching Doctor Strange, where she had the two mums, and then in this one they've got Korg has two dads, and now Valkyrie's gay, and there was something else in another one. I almost feel like they're pandering and catering on purpose. I mean, like, obviously it's on purpose, but almost just a little bit of pandering. And I'm like, is there going to be a gay character or gay couples or just gay references in every movie? Because it almost feels forced a little bit. I don't know.
Hey, Nick, I didn't see two rock monsters kiss on screen. I saw two straight people kiss. I will take my rock monster lava holding hands because that's all I got.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't know. I feel like they're just
you see yourself as Thor. You probably see a Jane. I don't see a gay superhero I can kiss.
I don't know. I think because I just think it's almost pandering and a little bit forced. Like, not as bad or obvious as that scene in Endgame where all the women, but like, oh, how are you going to get through that? Oh, don't worry. She's got help. And it's, what a stupid scene.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Stupid scene. That was so forced. But I thought a good example was the girl power thing of, her being like, oh, you got your weapons? And she pulls out the sword, and she's like, pulls out the daggers. And she's like, oh, what about this one? Oh, she got a grenade? No, actually, it's a speaker. And it, and they're just like, oh yeah, this is some girl power stuff they got going on here. All right, and I was like,
they had each other's back.
Yeah, and I felt like that was some subtle got your back, girl power type of moment without it being so forced. I don't know.
I guess I don't think it was girl power. I thought that was just like these two chicks got each other's back, right? Yeah. And I also thought in Thor Ragnarok, Valkyrie was like, okay, Jane's dumped or whatever. Thor might have a new love interest, sort of, with maybe. Valkyrie, kind of. Yep. They didn't really it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
But it was, the possibility was there. And then because Jane's back, they made it very obvious, like, oh no, Valkyrie's a lesbian. They're both on Team Jane. I really like that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Right? They're both rooting for her.
Yeah. Oh.
Without, sexual conflict of Thor having two potential girlfriends on screen at once.
Yeah, true. I don't know. So we've got 6 minutes before Zoom kicks us out. Do you have anything you sort of want to get in before we, I guess, get into the final battle and all the sort of the final act?
Yeah, I think we'll leave it here for the final act. Nick, quick Powerade break.
Quick Powerade break, and then we'll come in for the the final act. Stay tuned, people.
All right,
stay tuned.
We're back, everyone. So we're talking about Thor, Love and Thunder, and we're going to get into the final act where the final battles sort of take place.
Yep.
So, Nick,
the first
Thor
final battle,
and Mighty Thor, and Valkyrie, they're all on a ship.
Yep.
And they go to this magic shadow planet.
Yeah, where there's
Asteroid.
No colours. All black and white. Yep.
Yeah, what do you think? The colour palette change?
I thought it was a great mood setter, because I thought that was going to be the final battle, so I wasn't expecting it to be then another sort of fight after that. But I thought, it set the fact that they took away all the colors and the mood change. I thought that was handled really well. And then Jane realizing oh no, they need the Bifrost, and just comes running back and chucks Stormbreaker away. And
yeah, I like that.
And then trying to break Thor with the whole tentacle monster thing with them all. Yeah. I thought that was...
Yeah, he was trying to influence both of them, right?
Yeah. And
I like that it wasn't just a fight straight away.
Yeah, no, cool scene. I thought it was a cool scene. What about you?
I liked... And then... So, And then Thor, he obviously had to try and break free. He was given up, and then he summoned Stormbreaker and a lightning strike, or was it just a lightning strike?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think it was both.
Okay.
But I'm like, yeah, it was definitely both, because then they were on like either side, like and then they were ready to fight. But like seeing the lightning strike like hit the asteroid planet was like so cool, and I liked that the battle was on an asteroid, and it reminded me like of Mario Galaxy. Like, oh, we haven't had a fight in space on this small gravity
Little planet
thing before in Marvel. And I thought, oh, that's neat. That's different.
Yeah, it was cool. I thought, it was a cool fight. It wasn't going on for very long, but it was a very sort of serious fight, I think. It was still cool, and then, they have to retreat for a bit, and he gets on the Bifrost and loses Stormbreaker somehow, and I don't know how.
Yeah. How good is that?
So you watch when you watch Thor: The Dark World, when all the portals and stuff are opening up everywhere. He keeps trying to call Mjolnir, and Mjolnir is coming to him from all over the galaxy, right? Like literally, he's teleporting into different parts of the universe or the galaxy, or whatever. Yeah. And he still keeps trying to call Mjolnir, and Mjolnir's flying all over the place. And so after he goes through the Bifrost and lands on Earth without Stormbreaker, I don't understand why he couldn't just be like, oh, I'll call Stormbreaker again. Like, it still comes to him, right?
Yeah, well, I guess one of the plot points is that, they need Stormbreaker to get to different places, right? And the God Butcher guy, he can just teleport around in general, teleport to different planets through shadows.
Through shadows, yeah.
And then you teleport it back to Earth, or how do we get back? We got the Bifrost. Don't worry about that Infinity Stone that lets us teleport.
Yeah.
And then there's even Valkyrie's horse can also teleport.
Yeah, I felt like that towards the end there. I felt like there was a few plot holes.
I'm like, okay.
Which, I mean, just things that I'm watching. And yeah, you're right. When Jane comes back with the hammer and to defend him after, how did she get to there? I don't know.
Yeah, the Valkyrie horse just teleported her to the center of the universe, right?
Yeah, which, okay.
Oh, and of course, Zeus's lightning bolt.
Yeah, and he teleports with that as well.
Also a teleport.
Like, what? Oh, okay. I don't know. I felt like there was a few weird sort of plot holes there, but I guess it's a fun movie. It's you're playing, you're watching Thor go around and explosions and all sorts of whatever. Just take it as it is.
The very the whole movie, we've got to rescue those children.
Yeah.
And I'm like rolling my eyes around like, yep, kids. And even they're making fun of kids. But then, how cool was that final bit with the kids?
Oh, really?
Did you like it?
Oh,
no. I thought it was fun.
It was fun, but also I was like, I'm sitting in the cinema and it was 50% kids. And so the kids were all having a good time, but I was just like, I know kids going to watch the movie would love that. Be like, oh, kids get the power of Thor, and that's so cool. They go around and one's got a teddy bear and it's shooting laser beams out of its eyes and all sorts of stuff. I didn't really like it, but that's also probably because I don't really like children all that much. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if
I thought it made them into a boring plot point into like a fun payoff.
Yeah, fair. I'll give you that. Boring plot point, fun payoff. I'll give you that.
And then, we didn't think much of those shadow monsters, but I'm like, oh yeah, they're just fodder enemies, right? I'm like, let the fodder children fight the fodder enemies and make it fun.
And also just, I don't know, like Thor's new ability, like says to Stormbreaker, let everyone temporarily possess the power of Thor. And then they all get Thor's power. Like, why not just do that when you're fighting Thanos? Like, give everyone Thor powers and just like fuck him up.
Was it Deus Ex Machina or whatever?
Yeah, Ex Machina, it is. But it is what it is.
And then we had a final little fight with the God Butcher with Mighty Thor, which obviously you called a Lady Thor at the start. I'm like,
but I was
damn disrespectful of you.
Saving that for the end, but it was fine. It was cool. I really think Natalie Portman did an awesome job in the movie. Like Chris, as always, still Thor, still does a great job. And obviously Christian Bale as well. I feel like they all played their roles really well.
So at the end, they break the sword, the God slaying sword, right?
Yeah, that was cool.
But somehow he still opened up into Eternus, Eternity or whatever, Eternalness.
Yep.
He's opened that portal up, essentially. But how did the sword break? Was it just...
So I think it was because Thor was holding it with the lightning bolt into like a certain sort of spot, and then she throws the hammer, and so
that's right.
So if Thor's holding like the bottom middle area and she throws the hammer at the top, just would have snapped it. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. But then, the Mjolnir is broken into lots of pieces. The sword's broken into lots of pieces, and it looks like both of them can reform. Right?
Yeah, and then she somehow like brings all the sword back and still just does some sort of mighty smash and just wrecks it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But then somehow he gets into the magic middle of the universe portal.
He still gets in there. Yeah, he still gets in there anyway. And Thor just sort of lets him make a wish. I didn't really understand. Like, I guess
it was very like monk-like, and then I was confused. I'm like, okay, is this to do with like the Eternals, like all the celestial sort of style statues and stuff? And I'm like,
I think
I didn't really understand.
Because I don't really remember too much from the comics. I feel like someone who really knows their stuff might get me on it, but like in the Marvel universe, there are like physical embodiments. Like there's a physical embodiment of death. There's a physical, like sort of like the Infinity Stones. Like even though they have stones, there's a physical embodiment of death and time and space and all these sorts of things. And I'm not sure. And like eternity, or I think that's what that god was. And so, I don't really know what the go was there. It was eternity, wasn't it? That was waiting in the middle.
It was like Eternity City, Eternus or something. Eternal,
And I've seen that character before in one or two of my comics. I don't really remember which ones. It definitely wasn't a Spider-Man one.
But it looks like the shape of the Eternals giant robot. Things, right?
Yeah. Another very powerful being. But I just didn't understand why Thor would just let him grant the wish. I guess just for the plot or the main story, for Jane to die and for Christian Bale's character to get his daughter back. And this isn't about war, or this isn't about gods dying. This is about love and thunder. That's what it's about. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm having fun. I'm still having a good time. As far as like
but I like it. It's sort of. It redeemed him a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, like it just made him feel like, oh, he's not super evil. Yeah. What about his wife or whatever that helped make the baby, the child? I don't know.
No, bring the kid
doesn't
back.
Doesn't exist, obviously.
Yeah. But
and that ends the movie. Like, really?
Pretty much, yeah. It ends with
Jane
love and
dies.
Thunder. Yep.
Jane dies. She just gets whispered away into gold dust, and then
on her way to Valhalla.
The God Butcher's daughter returns, and then the God Butcher just dies.
Yep.
Because I guess the sword was giving him power or life or whatever.
Yep.
Maybe that's why Jane died as well. Because the hammer's still around, isn't it?
Hammer's still around, I think.
The hammer is.
Yeah.
It
Hammer's still around. Yeah. Because he gave Stormbreaker to the little girl, and he was using Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So I don't really know, but apparently her body couldn't heal while she was using the god's power and all sorts of whatever. There was a lot of stuff that was kind of like, it's like, this is a fun movie. You just take everything with a grain of salt and just have fun with it, I think.
But yes, Nick, I wrote down children are the future. So they're just lining up Marvel kids. So all the future Marvel fans, they've got someone to look forward to.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's the end of the movie, really, and it's called. I liked how they tied it together, Love and Thunder. I'm like, with a nice little Korg story tale. Yeah,
it was cool, and that's it. It was a good movie. I had fun. You won't go into this movie and walk out being like, oh, that was stupid. I don't think. I think everyone will just have fun, and I feel like it's hard not to smile and adore Chris Hemsworth in this role. Like he really just takes it on. He is Thor, the same way Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. I feel like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. He just is this character.
Well, Nick, Thor will return.
Yes,
they said it.
We don't know when, but Thor will return.
Could be another Thor movie.
Well, not only Thor. Thor's not the only one that's going to return. Zeus is going to return. He didn't die.
Was that in the post credits or was that
mid credits?
Mid credits. So we find out that Zeus isn't dead despite having a lightning bolt go through his chest. He's a god. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then his son Hercules, who I recognize from Ted Lasso.
Oh, I didn't recognize the actor from anything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he looked jacked.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Well, that's
for all of 3 seconds.
If you can see just behind me here, this list of comics here, it's all sort of random greatest hits of Marvel stuff. And I've got a bunch of Thor comics in there, and Hercules does appear in a bunch of them as well. Like, he's not a villain; he will be some sort of like, I got to get revenge on Thor or whatever. He's not a villain; he's Hercules. But I'm curious to see what they do with him. And in the comics that I have, where I have seen him and read him, he's like massively jacked, not like, but just like big and strong and like kind of chubs, but just like not ripped and cut like Thor, but he's big. But I don't know.
Hopefully that's a future payoff. Not much to go off for someone like me who doesn't really know much about the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
But then we got to the final post credits, which I felt like after the Doctor Strange one, which I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, Doctor Strange one was a waste of
time. This one was actually good.
It was good, but it was
a good post credits.
It was good, but I also feel like, I don't know, there was just no weight to any death in this movie. Like, oh no, Korg's dead. Oh no, he's alive. Oh no, Valkyrie's dead. Oh no, Valkyrie's alive. Oh no, Jane's dead. Jane's
I thought she was actually going to kill her, and then oh no, she just got stabbed in the kidney. Yeah, she'll grow a new one.
It's just like, okay, so Korg's not dead, Valkyrie's not dead, and now Jane's also not dead, even though she's dead.
Well,
also not dead.
They're in the afterlife.
Yeah, and
Heimdall's there.
Heimdall's not dead. I don't know how their afterlife works.
It's the Valhalla. Yeah, Valhalla.
Yeah. But
it's whatever the Viking afterlife is.
Norse. Yeah, I don't know if they can come back from to see those characters in Valhalla. I guess they have to be able to come back if Heimdall could come back.
Well, you know what? I think, here's my theory, right?
Yeah.
Those characters aren't going to come back. They're dead, right?
Okay.
But the more characters that die,
yep,
they can just go, all right, we're going to have some Valhalla adventures now with these characters that are dead that you know and love.
Yeah. I mean, it might have also just been like a nice little, because people liked Heimdall, and the last time we saw him, he was getting stabbed and killed. So maybe it was just like a nice little, hey, look, yeah, Jane died, yeah, Heimdall died, but they're in a good place. They're happy now. They're in Valhalla.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just
I don't feel like, I need to know more, right? I'm like, oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm satisfied. That's fine.
Yeah, if that's the last we see of those characters, then no, they're good. They're dead. They're in Norse heaven, and that's it. Good to them. If they bring them back, then I feel like that opens up a can of worms of anyone can come back, right? I mean, I guess they already sort of did that anyway with Endgame, with characters dying and coming back, but whatever.
It's a comic book. You know what? I think Thor summed it up himself very well. Just another adventure of Thor and friends, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever his quote was. And they repeated that line quite a few times. Like, yep.
Yeah,
this is a comic book movie. This is just a fun adventure, and it's enjoyable.
Yep, I agree. And with that, I think we're done. We wrap it up.
We're done. Thanks for watching, everybody. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on podcast services, and maybe we'll post the spoiler-free review on Facebook as well.
Yes, I agree. Maybe you will. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to all that sort of stuff. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the movie, or anything that we missed that you sort of wanted us to talk about, and we can have a little bit of a discussion in the comments. But that's it. Tune in next week, and we'll find something else to talk about.
Bye, Nick. Love you.
Bye, Jeffrey. Love you too.